Welcome to Rise and Shine Daily Business Tech Boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and break them down into bite-sized tips you can use right away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and shine. It's your daily dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 463 today. I'm not going to actually do a video tutorial. Just want to have a chat. I saw a question go up on one of the forums I'm on, and I thought it was a great one just to address with our group here. Please also excuse the nose. I got a bite from a mozzie or something, and yeah, a mosquito for those who are listening overseas. And I don't do well when I get bitten by mosquitoes. So anyway, let's go on. I saw a question on one of my forums that I'm on about a font, and I thought it was a great one just to discuss with business owners and the things that we as designers and developers, and you as business owners and me as a business owner needs to consider. The question went, I've just received an email from Font Foundry saying that the font that is used in my logo and on my website is not licensed. Is this legitimate, or is this spam or a scam? What do I do? Now, they posted the body of the letter, and I had a read of it, and I'm like, no, this is real. So what's happened, it appears, and it's always difficult to tell when you're just looking from the outside what the exact situation is. But we can extrapolate a few things. This business owner has paid a graphic designer to create their logo, and they've paid a web designer to design and build their website. One or both of them have gone and used a font that is licensed. Now, maybe they have the font themselves and it's in their font library and they own that license. Maybe they found that font somewhere else and they've downloaded it and gone, that's a nice font, I'm going to use it, and put it up on the website. Now, if it's a licensed font, I'm going to come to how you can get around some of this. If it's a licensed font, you need to have a license for it. Some licenses are free and some licenses cost money. You, as the business owner, are on the hook for that. Even if you subcontract to someone else, ultimately it's going to come back to you because you're the one that's going to get the messages saying this is unlicensed and you need to pay us a license fee, or you're going to have to pay a copyright or a license infringement fee, whatever it is. Like that, there are legalities that kick in around this stuff if you don't comply. So what do you do as a business owner? What do you do as a business owner when someone comes to you and says, here's your logo and here's your website? The first thing you need to do really is say, are all the images on this website licensed for my use? You've got to do it for the images. Stock photos are not free stock photos. Stock photos generally have, and when I talk about stock photos, it might just be that they've used one or two stock photos in places. It might be that they've taken a couple and they've melded them together. You need to make sure that you have a license to use those photos on your website. I will give you an example of that one in a moment. You need to make sure that you are allowed to display them and use them on your website. You also need to be certain what license has been given to you. Is it just a website license? Can you use it for printable materials? Can you use it for hard copy materials? Because sometimes you're going to go, oh, I really like that. What I want to do is put that onto a t-shirt or onto a mug or something and use that as a print. You need to make sure that your licenses cover all of that. It's really important. I know it's not something that you want to think about. I know it's not something that we would think about normally. We just trust that it's going to happen. You do need to be asking the questions when you take ownership of your website. Do I have a license to use these images? Can I have that license to use these images, a copy of that license to say that I can use these images. You need to ask the same question about the fonts that are being used. Are these fonts that I can use freely? Do I need a license? Where is my license? How do I prove that I can use these fonts? Okay, let's go to the images. I just mentioned that I actually got an email a couple of months back saying this image that you're using on your website, this is owned by this company over here and you've breached their copyright. I went, that's really weird. This has been on my website since 2012, 2011. This company's only been in operation for 3 years. I could go and see them. That's really weird. So I went and had a look. I went back and looked at where I'd actually got the image from, found the file that said I had a license to use it and sent it back to them. And I said, I got this from this organisation back in 2012. Your company is not the only one that sells this image. Don't do that again. So that to me was a scam. That was we found an image that we actually have in our library and we're going to see if you're going to pay us the money to get the license. So you do need to pay a little bit of attention. But the whole thing of that is that I had the license to go back and say, no, I own this license. This was mine. This is where I bought it from. This is the date I bought it from. Just imagine the record keeping you've got to keep to do all this, but you do need to keep those records. With fonts, not all fonts require a license. Not all fonts are paid fonts either. You can go to google.com/fonts. It's at fonts.google.com. Just Google fonts. There is an entire library of fonts that you can use there. They're all free. You can download them. You can put them on your website without an issue. Now, there's some trade-offs with that because Google do statistic tracking and they see where they're used and who's visiting, and there is a trade-off for using a free font. Honestly, I use Google Fonts. I think they're wonderful. I think you've got a whole range of things there and they work. Sometimes I will go to a font library and find a font and see whether I need to pay for it, see how much it's going to cost me to pay for it. Some of them aren't cheap. Some of them are very cheap and some of them aren't cheap. Some of them are free. And then make sure that I have that license and I put that license in the folders with the website. When I hand that over and say, there is your license, you need to hold on to it. So the upshot of all of this is, it's not just enough to say to your web designer and your graphic designer, do this and hand me over the files that I need. You do need to make sure that they are ticking the boxes, that they are using assets in accordance with the licenses that they have, that those licenses flow on to you, and that you have a copy of that or of that guarantee from your graphic designer or your web designer, that they can actually pass that through to you. I hope that makes some sense to you. I will go back to doing some video tutorials next, but I just really wanted to get that one out because that to me is quite key. And it's the thing that's going to trip people up. And some of the fees that people start getting hit with is quite hard. I guess just as a segue, I saw someone on X who had taken a likeness of themselves from a media site. So the media site had snapped a photo of them. Their photographer had gone out. This person was in the public. They had taken a photo of this person in public, and then they had put it up on their website for part of an article that was written. The subject of that image went and took that image from the website and used it on their website and referenced it on their website. And then they got a notice from the media company saying, you owe us a couple of $1,000 for the license to use that image, even though it's of your likeness. There was lots of discussion around, well, that's your likeness, they can't own your likeness. And the upshot of it was basically they took the photo, you gave them permission to use the photo, you have to pay to use it. Ridiculous, right? But that's what it's that's how detailed it can get. And it was a couple of $1,000 they had to pay. So just think on that as you're going through doing all your design stuff and having people work for you. Make sure you're working with reputable people. Make sure that they are managing the legalities for themselves, and that those managed legalities flow through to you. If you've got any questions at all, please leave comments wherever you are watching or listening to this video. Come across to my locals community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. Join the conversation there. If this video was helpful, if it's given you some information and some help in what you're dealing with, give it a like. I would really appreciate that. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to find out when I drop more content. And I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.